Good afternoon, YouTube. Good evening, good night, depending where you're at. This is your man, all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, well, where the season's just about over for bodybuilding. It really, it's technically it's over for women's bodybuilding, but not as much. As you know, in a couple of weeks, we do have the Rising Phoenix Women's Bodybuilding World Championship coming up. Even though it's considered a Olympic qualifier, but as long as you have Andrea and everybody else who's already qualified for Olympia, it's not really a truly Olympic qualifier. So unless everybody beats Andrea, which I don't see that happen anytime soon. So anyway, I got my partner in crime here. He's on the road again. Let's call like Charles Corral. We got my man here, Mr. Big Keith Williams, aka Scuba Steve. Yeah, he got his man bun on. He got his.
Got the man bun, yes.
Yeah, got the man. Look like he should be.
Hey, that's a pretty face anyway.
Actually, you should be saying, Sahib, what do you want from me? What are your wishes? yeah. I want to see your wife is Jeannie. I don't know. I don't want to see you. I want to see Tina. I don't want to see you. Nah. I want some big dude. No. I want to see you with 3 eyes. But anyway, folks. Officially, the last show for qualification for the Olympia for women's bodybuilding is over. That was the Europa Championships in Alicante, Spain, and we have a winner. And we all know this is somebody we pretty much knew was going to win the show, and that is Chelsea Dion. There's no question. I feel like it was kind of close because I think it was really a battle between Chelsea and Jay Fuchs towards the end. Because Jay, almost last month, she competed at the Masters Olympia, but she was like number 6, and she did pretty good. She bounced back. Jay's working with Hera Trevino, her and another competitor, but this year Hera Trevino's not competing. And I saw that the Female Bodybuilding Channel already put out the list, and there might be the correction here, because one person is not on this list, and we're taking a critique of this show. All right, and there she is, Chelsea Dion, who is the first American to win the Europa Championship in Spain. It's usually mostly Europeans who win that show, and I remember someone telling me that she actually said herself she was going to sit out this year and work on a few things and try to grow a little bit. But then, when someone was telling me that Marjorie Martin talked something in her ear, told her, go ahead and compete this year. Because she lives in Vegas, and so does Margie. She said, go ahead and compete. And she did. It was tough to go all the way to another side of the world, because most of the time, a lot of the American competitors don't go outside of the country, other than maybe Canada, and now and then you might have seen some people go to the Romanian Muscle Fest. But generally, not a lot of American competitors will go out of the country to try to get up the qualification because it's expensive. It's just expensive to try to travel around the States. Now you got to go, places like Spain or Portugal, Romania, or whatever show is going to have it in whatever country. But the list is they show here. We have Andrea Shaw in the statue, as you know, she's the champion. Angela Yo, who took second. Now, as we all know, Hella is not competing, so she's crossed out. Sherry Prom, he won the Vancouver Island show. Natalia Kovaleva, who won the New York Pro. Judah Wessel, who won the Toronto Pro. Oxina Barrito, who won the Portugal Pro. Mila Ash, Atlanta. Christina Mendoza, Chicago. Michaela Aycock, Tampa. And Sean Boswell, the Masters Olympia. And you have right here, Chelsea, who won the European show. So supposed to be counting the 3 top 10 and only 9 shows that Olympic qualification is supposed to be only 12 competitors. But with Hella out, it's dropped down to 11. And as we know, this year wasn't a great year because we lost some shows. Some shows were either they dropped women's bodybuilding, like Omaha, the show in Brazil, and also the Big Man Weekend. Shows that didn't have this year is Savannah Pro is not this year.
Indianapolis.
the Indy Pro, also the Puerto Rico Pro. And and that Norfolk. Well, Norfolk that was like 2 years ago since Norfolk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been 2 years since Norfolk. So yeah, Savannah is the one thing that really I was kind of I would say I think maybe because Atlanta's a bigger town. She felt like Savannah would be better just do a show in Atlanta. But I wish she did keep Norfolk and Savannah. If like I said, I think if somebody could really promote Linda, like they could promote like Arnold Schwarzenegger and put on maybe support those shows. You might have them both still. But the problem is it's tough to put up the money, and most sponsors or don't want to put behind too much of a show where I think they have they just don't have like women's bodybuilding that much.
Well, we got to also say that they took the point system out, so that kind of killed a lot of people's dreams this year, and a lot of girls are left out on the outside looking in who should have actually been in Olympia. And we talked about what was it, Tampa and Chicago being two of the shows where we thought that the two girls that came in second had to be close between. I didn't see the scorecards, but it's just unfortunate that you got so much talent, more talent out there, and quality talent. And if it was like a knockout, but those shows weren't just a knockout, then I can understand. But those girls were close, so it's just unfortunate that those girls on the outside looking in this year. And especially when one girl took off a year and the other girl took off 2 years and came back better, and now they got to wait a whole another year. It's like, fuck, I mean, excuse my language, it's kind of like the Olympics every 4 years now, If you're not on, you out. You got to train for another 4 years. Now these girls got to train another year to try to do it again, so.
And then I hear some that they might want to, step back or, this might be their last year competing, But like I said, that's something we'll talk about later on. But anyway, we're going to look at some, this is from the Fury Bodybuilding Challenge. Shout out to them. They were there. AJ, boots on the ground, 10 toes down. I'm a fan of Fury Bodybuilding Channel and the content they put out. And, this is some pictures we got here. And pull them up. And the top 4 at this show, wait a second, was, as Chelsea, she won. She won the show. Then at one point, I wasn't certain this chick was going to get in that close. And that is Victoria Kanish. She's Russian, but she lives in Dubai. She's also, like Jay, she's one of Helen's clients. Then, Then, you had, Jay taking 3rd, Judith Foray taking 4th, and 5th, Virginia Sanchez. And, Virginia looked good. I thought she should have placed a little higher, especially compared to Julia. I mean, from some pictures I saw, Julia didn't look as conditioned as before. Like, this is a picture with her with Josepha. Josepha's not competing this year, and she looks good, but I don't know. She's not catching her conditioning. I mean, look at the shoulders. She getting those muscle bells in the shoulder, but she's kind of like LaDonna Day. She's like her conditioning just not coming in like it should. Here we go. We got a picture here. Just Jay. Jay looks pretty good. She really bounced back from the Master Show. And here's Chelsea. And Chelsea, she looked pretty good. I mean, I felt like it was going to go because, like I said, with Chelsea, she has the advantage of youth. I mean, Chelsea's not even 40 yet. I think she's in her early 30s. Well, you gotta get it. So, what you think, big bro?
Here's the thing. What I noticed is with Chelsea, the reason why I think she won is because she favors, not that she looks like her, but she favors Andrea Shaw more. That makes sense. When you look at Andrea Shaw, those other girls are super. In my opinion, they're more conditioned than Chelsea. But again, there's a lot of girls that Andrea competes against that are better, probably a little bit better conditioned than her, but probably a little too conditioned. I know that sounds crazy, but when they start talking about bringing back women's bodybuilding, they talk about not as hard, and bringing that, Andrea, like we talked about for months now, has that complete balance. And when you look at Chelsea, you know, you're seeing that balance of that femininity. Not saying that they're not feminine, but that hard, but not too hard, but soft look. I mean, if you go back and look at a picture of Andrea Shaw and look at Chelsea, you know, they're not. I'm not saying the bodies are similar, but what I'm saying is their shape and condition and that look is relatively similar. Does that make sense?
A bit, but I feel like Chelsea's closer to somebody else who name I don't mention on my channel, because she's taller and she has that taper look, you know. And you know, your wife know who I'm talking about. The one person we name I do not speak on her channel.
Nope.
They're a little bit more similar in ways, especially they love to do the vacuum. You know, they love to do that one a lot. They have broader shoulders. I think she's like about the same height. They're both about the same height.
What I'm saying is in the lineup, she favors Andrea more than the other girls. So in that lineup, that show she just did, she favors Andrea more than the other girls. And none of those other girls favor Andrea, like Chelsea did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you say. We got the man KL Warner here. He's popped in.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, what's up? Y'all talk for me. I'll take care of this real quick, and I'm gonna put myself out. Wait a minute. It's okay. It's done. Yeah. All right. So okay.
Hey, show my face.
Yeah, you can show your face.
Yeah. What y'all talking about?
We're talking about the. Wait a second. Go ahead. We're talking about the show Conte, and you know this is like the mystery date. Who want, like, you know, or your mystery date? You know, I come around the corner. People want to come around the corner and say, "Damn!" And then they see me and say, "Oh shit!" And then they see you, Chaos. Say, nah. Come back. But yeah, we're talking about the other Conte show in Spain, and you know Chelsea Dion won that show, and they were, you know, like I said, this is the last show from Women's Bodybuilding this year. There's still the Rising Phoenix, so you still have the Olympia, but you know, with the Rising, it's not Olympic qualification. It's Olympic qualification as long as you have Andrea and everybody else who has got the qualification, you know, and shows. You know, no one really is going to qualify for the Olympia at the Rising Phoenix. Unless Andrea steps aside and to make the show more inclusive. But anyway, going back by Chelsea, how Chelsea, her physique is like he said, she's kind of similar to that. I think that you said like it's more the feminine look towards like Andrea. But like I said, she looks more like somebody else that we don't speak. But yeah, she has those good qualities that I think that really helps her.
And I'm just saying, in that lineup, in that particular lineup, you know, and it's like, you know, John Smith, who trains the 3-time world champion and 3-time John Simmons, who trains the 3-time world. He goes, these girls are trying to get harder and bigger, but that's not what they want. And that's why they can't beat Andrea, because they're chasing after the size and condition. But what I'm saying is that's not, when we first introduced women's bodybuilding back into this whole realm 5-6 years ago, they wanted to go away from that harder look. And that's why we got the 3-time. You pull up a picture of Andrea Shaw and pull up the picture of Chelsea and pull up the picture of the 3 girls that were 3rd, 4th, and 5th at this last show. And then you tell me there's a similarity. And John says these girls keep chasing after this condition and this hard, dry, you know, muscular look, but that's not what the judges are looking for, you know, from what they said. And that's why Andrea is hard to beat right now, because she brings that balance of both, you know, the condition, the hardness, not too hard, not too soft, you know, so that's why it's just hard to beat. Again, and I quote the famous words of Steve Weinberger and Sandy Williamson: it's hard to take your eyes off of Andrea because of what she brings to the table.
She's a very beautiful woman. I mean,
and look at Chelsea. Those other girls were in more condition than Chelsea. Way more condition than Chelsea. So again, That's exactly what I'm talking about. If you look at those three girls that you put up earlier, look at Chelsea and look at them. Chelsea is not as hard and dry as second and third. She's not.
Why you think she won?
She won because, like he said, she has the look that Andrea has, good balance, but
Oh,
plus that femininity. Like if you
okay.
look at, like I said, I've often said that Chelsea Dion has a certain look to her. She has that, girl next door look to her. I mean, very, more feminine. I think other than maybe Julia Foray, Chelsea and Julia Murray more the more aesthetically pleasing women in the group. You know, compared to I'm a big Virginia Sanchez fan. I think Virginia Sanchez has a great physique, amazing body. Jay does too. I'm a fan of hers also. But like I said, that both of them are in their 50s, and it's hard to maintain that level of muscle density when you get to that, into your mid to late 50s, because your body changes. You don't grow and develop as you are when you're younger. If you look at somebody like Michaela Aycock, who's not even 30 yet, but her physique is kind of, best way to say it's like a mutation. I would say, no offense to her, it's because she's short and she can put on the muscle because she's short, but it's just that it's more so in the top. It's not going anywhere else where it needs to go and spread out.
Well, I mean, no offense to her and all. She's small, compared to the other girls in the lineup. Her condition is probably the best conditioned girl in the show. But that being said, when you start standing next to the giants, like the Andreas, the Chelseas, the Christina Mendoza, she's small. The Maya, she's small. And no offense to her physique is not as appealing as the other girls. I mean, and when you look at Michaela, even off season, she hasn't put that much size on. She just brings superior condition because she's a smaller girl. So it's that's kind of one of those I've heard that's the way she looks year round with that conditioning because she's not that big. I've seen her in person; she is small. And like I said it when she won the Omaha a couple years ago, sitting next to Linda and Alina, and said, "How is she going to stand next to the girls at the Olympia that year with the big girls when Margie and Helena and Andrea and all these other girls?" In that show, you can dominate, but when you go to the big stage, it's a whole different ballgame. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. We have Stefan Prey. He says this. He says, "Whoever comes in second at the Rising Phoenix should make the Olympia." Well,
I agree totally.
But yeah, I agree with that. But here's the problem: is Stefan, it might be either Mela, Michaela, Angela, or even Sherry Priami, who already qualified for the Olympia.
We got to talk about the two girls. What are the two girls? The girl who won second in Tampa. Is she doing this world?
Oh, you mean
Yes.
who's second Tampa? That was that Teresa?
Jessica.
Jessica didn't compete. She's in Chicago.
Yeah, she was second in Chicago.
Second Chicago. No, she's not competing at Rising. Yeah, she's not on the list.
The girl who was second at Chicago to Christina too.
That's Jessica Martin.
And the girl who came in second at Tampa this season.
I think that's Teresa and Vasek. No. Was Teresa?
No.
It was Nikki Chartrand. Nikki came second. Nikki Chartrand.
Yes, and because those are the two girls that took a year off and 2 years off, and it was close in those shows. So Nikki, if she doesn't, so she's in the world. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But it only makes sense if you got 10, 11 girls in the lineup to sit there and say, and I mean, and this has happened at the when you're an amateur. If a girl wins one class by default, they usually give it's like nationals. You come in second, you get your pro card now. So it only makes sense. I mean, to have 10 girls on stage, that's it. That makes no sense. So to be able to add a girl, I think even what was it last year? What's her name? The tall girl like you.
Irene.
Irene got a special invitation, and she was in the top 5.
That was last year. Because they said they said that because I think AJ said that because she was top 5 the last year's Olympic year before, and then they gave the special invitation. She already had points. She had 16 points, but she had enough to qualify, so they gave a special invitation. I even said this. You said that.
Tina said, "Shit, I was only 1 point away. They didn't give me an invitation."
Well, you remember Jake? I think Jake owned the Olympia then, or did Jake own the Olympia then?
Yes, he had just bought it. So that's when the craziness. Remember, Teresa had to beat Boswell. Boswell had to beat Teresa, and Tina had to make top 5. And she made top 5, but because Teresa beat Boswell, that bumped her out by 1 point.
Ooh, yeah.
So that was the craziness of that whole thing.
Yeah. This is from Stefan Perry says,
all the talent that we have in women's bodybuilding, which I think, in my opinion, has been the best year of competition for women's bodybuilding. And there's a lot of girls, like the second and third girl just in this last show this weekend, are not going to be an Olympian. And that's just unfortunate. But I've had heard rumors that next year, after what has happened this year, they may bring the point system back for certain classes. But that's just pure speculation at this point.
Yeah. Well, this was Stefan Perry says Chelsea is hot right now. She is hot right now. But like I said, we'll put this here. This is, as you know, these are the 2 ladies that Hella is working with. That's Victoria Kinish right here on your right, my left, and we now know Jay Fuchs. And these ladies were 2 and 3 at the show, and they look really impressive. I mean, Jay, she didn't look as good last year at Romania. I was talking about on social media. I said she should have done the Europa show first, then do the Romania, and like she did with the show in Spain. She did that. She did the master show first, got 6, and climbed back up, and she placed 3rd at this show. Actually, some people say that at one point the other girl was going to be probably 3rd or maybe 4th, and then Julia Furrier, they felt like Julia Furrier was going to be like 5th. I think originally, what Jay said, they brought back like later on the show again, and it just I think Victoria, Jay, Chelsea, and Julia, and
But you're telling me you wouldn't want to see these 2 girls on stage at the Olympia this year?
I think I would like to, I think Jay.
I just wanted to.
These 2.
My bad. Go ahead.
I think I like to see Jay. I think Victoria hasn't had done enough, to get an invite, to my opinion. Jay, Virginia, maybe even though she said she retired, Branka Djokovic, she deserved because she was top 5 last year. I think Victoria.
What's the name of the? What's the name of the? Real quick, what's the name of the one on the left again? Next to Jay Fuchs.
Her name is Victoria Kanish. She's from Russia. Kanish. She's from Russia, but she lives in Dubai, and she's a veterinarian.
Okay.
And you really see how Jay really makes her improvements. This is a little. I think you got a little video right here. She's really, come from last year. She wasn't as dense. She was in decent condition, but she wasn't dense, compared to this year. And work with Hella now. Hella, she can compete at the show. And she's not competing at the Olympia. I'm wondering why. This is a video where there's Irene's not competing either. And they're buddies. They hang out together. They travel together, they're friends. The big question is, what's Hella doing? Is she just focusing on training other people? Is this going to be her with last year's Olympia, her swan song? I mean, I'm curious. I'd like to know.
How many years have Helena been competing now?
See, she's been competing since I would say the mid to early '90s. Then she took about a few years off because she had an injury. She competed for like her first Olympia was 2003, and she competed for almost 7 years, and she'd come back till 2011.
Well,
And
and here's the thing. I mean, and here's the thing that you have to ask yourself: when Helena May say, "Shit, I'm making more money training people than I am competing." I mean, at this point in time, she probably is like a Kai Green who doesn't think, and that's why Kai stepped away. That she probably's never going to win the Olympia. You know, that's like Margie stepped away as well. And then shit, the picture that you just showed me. Look, what did we talk about our last podcast? This money thing. Oh shit, the girl who placed third only got $500. 500 for third place. Come on, really? That doesn't even cover her expenditures to going over there. We all know that.
no,
So, I mean, a lot of people in my class, the open class, and things are stepping away, Wands and some of the other guys, because guys can make more money doing other things. And well, I mean, guys make more money, but they can, Helena can probably make more money training these girls. I mean, shit, she probably ain't gonna make nothing off of $500. She might get 50, but she's probably making more money training them, than making money competing at this point in time. Because again, what did you say, George? There's not very many shows for these girls to compete in, and we all know that Helena only usually does the Olympia and the World Championships. And then what was last year? She hurt her shoulder. We didn't think she was going to come back to Olympia stage, and she came back, and she still did well. But you're in Dubai, you're making money. I've got a little sponsorship over there, and you know, like I tell people all the time, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So,
yeah,
she may
because
be stepping away.
no, actually, she hadn't competed at the Rising for the last couple of years now. Because that one year, I think she wanted to focus on Olympia. That was in 2021. She wasn't part of the show in 2021, and then the
Well,
injury.
she hurt her shoulder and she went to Mexico to have the surgery. Remember?
That was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was last year. Yeah, I know about the shoulder thing because she was recovering in Mexico, and then she just and then I remember that one year when
Well,
she
she won
wanted.
2 years in a row. So before
Yeah, well,
Andrea,
not
she
only
had
two
won
years
the
in a
first.
row. She won after Margie, lost to Alina, and then after
Came
that,
back and won. Came back and won because I know she won the Hellcat and the Jeep.
yeah,
So
yeah, because she
because Alina won the Corvette, and then
yeah,
she came back, and then that's when Alina stepped away, and then she won her title back.
yeah, and then that's the next year. After that, Andrea came in and won it, and after that, I think the last time Margie competed was 2019, and then when they were going to bring back women's bodybuilding to Olympia, Margie just said she was focused on Olympia because she would say she's already qualified for that show.
Yeah.
We got here from man Stefan Prey says, if Hella isn't competing, there should be a slot available. Well, this is not how it works. You have to win and be in the top three. Me personally, like I said, Hella all right at the show, but Bronca Djokovic was better. Bronca should have been to me third. I mean, because if she got the third spot, because Bronca decided to retire, I understand, but if she maybe just maybe being wishful thinking, but I think if she had got third place, she probably said, you know what, let me go ahead and compete. I got this third place spot, but it's up to her. While we're here, we're gonna pull up some other pictures here because there's also, there was, the I think it was let's see what's is they had a lady who just won also women's physique, and I think I saw this on the Female Body channel. They posted this picture a while ago, and it's a comparison between the lady Karina Goncalves from Brazil, who won in women's physique, and Chelsea. I'm gonna put it up here real quick, guys. And if you look at it, this is where we keep talking about how the lines are thin between the two divisions, where you almost can't tell which is who. And
Talking about this for weeks now, George.
yeah, we have here. You recognize Chelsea, and that is Karina. And Karina, she liked one of my comments I made, and shout out to her. I appreciate that. I posted something on my IG, and she liked it. And she commented on it, and just thanks to her. I did for Chelsea, but Chelsea didn't comment, but it's cool. But if you look at them, you wouldn't think one's bodybuilding and one's physique. I mean, and you know what? If you don't care, I do my my comparison videos. I think I might do this one on this. If I can get, if I see Karina has all the poses I need for it, I might do a crossover with Karina and Chelsea.
Yeah, you can't really tell the difference. I'm looking that one on the right. She's physique, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and looking for the back. This is a shot from the back. Even though I think Chelsea's shoulders is a little bit broader.
Yeah, she's a little bigger. Chelsea's a bit bigger, but I mean, they still similar.
Yeah, because I mean, Chelsea was a big girl before she started competing. She was overweight.
Yeah, she says that before.
Yeah.
She was kind of like Margie. Margie was a big girl before she started competing. So they already had that size. Whereas the other girl, in the back of the hamstring, she's a little better conditioned, but not as dense in the muscle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me ask y'all something. Do they all got, like, when they compete? Do they all got to eat a lot to get that size? Okay,
Yes.
it's just a simple. Okay, I'm just asking.
It's
Like prime example, Tina eats 6 meals a day. I mean, I cook all of them, so she eats 6 meals a day. I mean, this week we're depleting her.
6 meals a day? Like, what she eat?
So for her, the first meal is 6 eggs whites, half a cup of cream of rice. Second meal is 6 ounces of fish, 5 ounces of potato. Second meal is 6 ounces of fish, 4 ounces of vegetables. Third or fourth meal is turkey, vegetables, and eggs. So and in between meals, because she's starving, she's eating rice cakes and a little bit of peanut butter. So they eat a lot. I mean, Tina, my wife will tell you,
I eat 6 meals a day.
She's a fit girl and a fat girl's body.
I eat 6 meals a day.
I don't eat that. I don't. Truthfully, I don't have breakfast anymore like I used to. I'll have lunch.
Yeah.
I might have a little snack. Then I have my dinner, and then I have a little snack. Before bedtime. I don't eat as much like I used to. I used to eat breakfast, and that was the thing between me and my mom. We used to get up. I make her. She liked pancakes, sausages, and eggs. I don't like eggs. I have no taste for eggs. But I have pancakes and sausages. We used to eat that together in the morning. She had a coffee. I know bodybuilders love coffee. They love that coffee. That coffee, saying a cup of coffee is in there. A cup of coffee. Yeah.
I tried the egg whites before. It ain't too bad. You gotta put a little salt. It's like eggs and stuff, but it's like a little healthier and stuff.
Yeah.
And you just gotta know how to. Yeah, you just gotta hook it up. That's all.
Yeah. A cup of coffee, man. Freak out. But we're gonna go back to Karina again, and she knows she won.
The women and we compete in. It's a science. So this week is Tina's depletion phase. So she's used to having carbs like twice a day and rice cakes in the middle. But this is a supper week, we call it, where she gets 1 carb meal a day, and the rest is just protein and vegetables because John's depleting her. And I'm sure Andrea is the same. But John knows what he's doing, and that's why we went with John because when you have the champ, the 3-time world champion, and the 3-time Miss Olympia, I mean, this guy is a perfectionist to what he does, and I am just amazed that how Tina's body has transformed since we've been with him. But the dude is a science. It is absolutely a science. It's not like you people. I eat chicken and rice, all right? Chicken and broccoli. Well, that's not how this fucking works. Because protein is different. Turkey is different than chicken. Chicken is different than eggs. Eggs is different than beef. So there's a difference. So it's a science when these trainers like myself and John are putting people through the paces to get ready for shows. So they have to eat a lot because they got to feed the muscle because their metabolism is constantly spinning. Tina tells you she's hungry all the time. But
I got a question. I mean, is it the same meal all the time, or like is it like something different?
Well, like at first when we first changed her diet, or John changed her diet, there was 4 meals of fish, and then it was hard for her to get it down. So we went 2 egg meals, 2 fish meals, 2 turkey meals. So yeah, it's always the same. You know, it has to be the same because again, no sacrifice, no glory. And like I tell Tina all the time, she hates fish, but I cook it a certain way so she can get it down. But I'm like, you have 50,000 reasons to eat that fish, girl. 50,000 reasons.
That's a car when a Jeep and a truck.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. But we wish best luck to our lovely
That's
women.
interesting, man.
Yeah. But anyway, Anyway, I'm going back into Karina Kaverius, who took second in women's physique. Now, this was her second show as a no. This is her second year as a pro, and she's from Brazil originally, and she looks really impressive. She is. I don't know. Maybe she could have future in bodybuilding.
Yeah, she's
Was that the
gorgeous.
girl
I ain't
who was
going.
standing next to Chelsea?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, she. This is physique, as you said again. And if you look at her, she's not too far to some of the women in division now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's
Now,
the thing. This is what I say. I like the way Andrea looks. I like the way Chelsea looks. I like the way Christina looks. Because here's the thing. This is what I'm saying when we're talking about a look that people will be like, okay, I can rock with that shit because it's not too masculine looking. The women are not too masculine looking. These are pretty girls, So they're not too masculine looking. It's which, when they brought the sport of women's bodybuilding back, that was the turnoff, right? So when you see something like this, she's another girl. If she wasn't successful in women's physique, she can cross over to women's bodybuilding and do fairly well.
yeah. Right here we have a comment from the lovely Mrs. Michelle Brink. She says, "LOL. Are you sure this is women's physique division? Look amazing, but when are they just going to get rid of the division and just do light and heavy women's bodybuilding? Just being real, as I was in the
That would be
inception,
great.
yeah, of women's physique in 2010. We knew bigger and harder
And
was prevalent.
and you know why that would be great? Because
they should keep women's physique and make 2 divisions in women's.
They should keep women's physique and make 2 divisions in women's bodybuilding because, again, earlier in our conversation when we talk about Michaela's a shorter girl who has unbelievable condition. But if you have even a tall and a short class, for women's bodybuilding, that balances the system out. You know what I'm saying? It balances it out a little bit.
Here we have here is Caroline Alvarez dos Santos, who took second to Avi Rain at the Master Show last month, who won at Portugal. She already got a qualification. She's another Brazilian, and she took second to another Brazilian again. Very impressive, very nice lines, great feminine look to her. She's been doing pretty good. And here was the top 3 of this show. We have Karina, we have Carolina, and we have here, this is Sarah Bradley, and she's from Great Britain, and I think she's in her 20s. And some say that Sarah, from some pictures I've seen of her, she could go over because she competed at Texas. She was top 5 at that show. And her look is she poses like Elisa Kissling.
Yeah, I seen that earlier.
Yeah,
She looked like a gladiator or something.
Yeah, she like I said, she's young, and she's still growing and developing. She could maybe take a couple of years and grow, put more size, and jump over to women's bodybuilding.
What's her name again? No, I'm sorry.
Sarah Bradley.
Sarah what?
Bradley.
Sarah Bradley. Okay. Yeah.
Bradley.
What reminds me of George? Reminds me of Angela a little bit.
I think she kind of reminds me a bit of Sheeta Black, just a little bigger.
She's bigger.
Yeah. More dense. Because Sheeta has that great taper, amazing abs. The upper body. She has bigger arms, But yeah, she kind of reminds me of Sheila. But she's impressive, and she's like I said, I think she's just in her mid-20s. And it is these young girls like Michaela and her, and
Yeah.
Hunter Henderson. I think say Hunter supposed to be coming back. That's what I'm hearing. These girls are just not even turned 30 or even 40 yet. Here we have this from Stefan Prey. He says, Christina is drop dead gorgeous. Yes, she is, but here's the thing is, pretty's not enough. If that was enough, Leah Purple could have won the last Miss Olympia, the last two Miss Olympias. It's about the aesthetics. Now, Andrea has that combination, good aesthetics, and very feminine, beautiful look to her. Like I said, I'm a fan of Andrea. I mean,
she's the total package.
She's total package. I don't see anybody right now taking her title. I mean,
here's the thing that people have to, and this is when you look at the world of bodybuilding. Andrea and Andrea have to do one show, two shows, to defend their title. Where these other girls have already done their shows, they qualified, they peaked, and they're in their best condition. But here's the thing that we all understand about Phil, Jay, Ronnie, and the history of bodybuilding, Iris, Linda. To knock out the champ, you got to knock them the fuck out. Excuse my language. You can't just, come in with you got to knock them out, because it can be close, but they're still not going to lose their title. And then we know in the history of bodybuilding, men and women, Alina should have beat Iris. Guess what? She didn't, because she didn't knock her ass out. She wobbled her, wobble a little bit, but she didn't knock her out. So if you don't knock out the champ and it's close, that's the history in which we're dealing with. So Andrea said it last year when she walked on stage. She almost died last year because she took some diet pills or something, and got her sick. She was in the hospital. When she walked on stage, she said, "I'm back." And I said, "Oh shit." And she came back, and you're like, "Yep, she's back."
Yeah. It's just like I said. It's like they just had a UFC fight. My man froze up a little bit, but we just had a UFC fight about a couple of days ago. One of my favorite fighters, she lost to the fighter who was a champion, even though she did the best job. She was doing more than the champion. She had at least 3 rounds over maybe 1 or 2 to hers, but it's still, instead of making it definite who's the champion, they say we have a draw. Which is draws is bullshit. Like draws like kissing your sister.
Yep.
You kiss a girl, but you're not kissing actually anything that gets you, excited. But it's just how it is. But if like one thing, like Natalia and Sarah, I think that title might go back and forth, because with Sarah, she has that look that's kind of like throwback classic, maybe like Linda Murray. And Natalia has the look that's, I think, is what the division is going towards, And I think, I agree that maybe, like, even with figure, some of the figure girls, like, I remember I showed that video of Jessica Begir-Reyes at the Master Show, and I thought at first when I saw her do it, like the camera was panning up, and I thought I was looking at Evie Rain. But then we showed Jessica's face and her body. I said, oh my gosh, and even someone like Lola Montez, she's getting a lot bigger, because I saw her. I follow her on YouTube, and she was like talking with Jay Cutler, and she was like walking around showing her physique, her back, her shoulders, they're getting bigger, broader, thicker. This is where even figure girls like this shut down physique, turn figure to the new physique division. They can still wear the high heels they want, but call it, physique, and maybe call physique master physique, and or something. Figure it out, or have to put in the bring back the weight class. But we all know that truthfully, Andrea is putting her money where his mouth is, like Sarah Vickers is doing, and she just dropped it finally that they're announcing the Triple O Dynasty show is coming up in April 16th, and the show is going to be in Arizona, which you all know Wing Strength is in Arizona. That's where the main offices are. You know, it's going to be the Mesa Convention Center, Delta Hotels, Arizona Ballroom. And you know, this show, the Triple O Dynasty, is being promoted by Whitney Jones, you know, multiple time, you know, 3-time Mr. Fitness competitor, Andrea Shaw, 3-time Miss Olympia and world champion, and 6-time figure champion, Sid Gillen. There's also Natalia Correjo is going to sponsor Women's Physique, and Sandy Williams is going to be, I think they say she's going to be the head judge. So the show is Olympic qualification. It's a pro-am show, which meaning that, you know, the am part you qualify for nationals, and the pro parts, you know, the amateurs are paying for the pros. So, what do you think?
That's right. They ain't stupid.
Yeah, because Jake got a couple of shows in Arizona, and maybe I don't know with the loss of Puerto Rico, the loss of Savannah, being kicked out of Brazil, and the Big Man Weekend, and then Indy getting dropped. You know, you think that Jake would? You know, we just lost my big bro. You know, I think Jake might try to. It's a Sun Devil show and another show he has. He might try to make those shows. Make those shows pro am shows and Olympic qualification. Yeah, because that's the thing is, we do a pro am show. The amateurs pay to compete. Meaning you could like remember you did an interview with Heather Tillery, how she said she competed in women's bodybuilding in physique and in figure. You know, so you'll have somebody maybe doing 2, maybe even 3 divisions of the show. Like you might have a girl doing figure, then doing physique, or doing physique and doing bodybuilding, or sometimes even doing all 3. But you got to pay, I think, about $300 per division. You know, and then you have sponsors that back the promoters, but then still the money from the amateurs fuel and pay for prize money, other stuff.
I don't know what to say.
I know there's a lot here. You know, this is where like I was watching an interview with Katie. You always got to remember all the technical stuff when you talk to these ladies, because you know that stuff you understand. You know, you're like, you know, just, and sometimes always pay attention to the details of it when you talk about it. You know, like
I be hearing you. I be like, yeah, how does he know how to like articulate all this stuff? And you know, I mean, it's not hard, but it's like it's a lot, bro. Like to just I don't know, like maybe I just have to keep learning or something.
yeah,
But
that's it.
you
Just
know,
learning.
just yeah,
Anything you do, you have to learn. It's like before you can walk, you have to crawl, and before you can
right,
run, you have to walk. You know, it's a
yeah,
process. And me, I learned from when I used to, like I said, I used to work different jobs, and I always use that when I work my job. Like when I used to work at this gas station, like if we need certain beers. You know, I mean, one time this guy named Adam, he was really cool. He used to drive the Budweiser truck. We used to bring. One time he was driving with his boss. His boss came in and said, "Hey, this is my man George. You know, ask him this and that." And I told him the beer, this and that, and he was impressed. I remember my old job, I used to at Sophie's. It was a textile plant. My supervisor, sometimes the bosses come down, and one day she said, "Oh well, this is George. He's one of our service persons. You know, George, tell him what thread goes with what color and this and that and that." It's just it's hard sometimes, but if your mind can just it's like your mind's a computer. And when you get the information in your head, you have to store it, figure it out, calculate it, and put it in order. Sometimes it can be a little scrambled and but if you can get this one
I'm a
here,
slow learner, George. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like
well, that's
I
the
get
thing.
things, but it takes time. Like for me, like
So it takes time. Not everybody is going to be like that. It takes time.
yeah,
Work at your speed. You know, like I said, you're not me, but
yeah, I
yeah,
know.
yeah, you can break me down. Yeah, but yeah, but the big question, it was like, maybe Keith come back. We'll still talk about this with now we had the Rising Phoenix coming up. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. It's the last. It's the I think the 30th, I believe, the Rising Phoenix, and I think some people are wondering who is going to. There's no question who's going to win. Andrea. The question is
Yeah.
who's going to make the top 5. Like I said, there he is.
Yeah, you had the list, right? You had who this you had yeah, you posted that you earlier. You was
Yeah,
posting that.
they had to refurbish the list because
Yeah.
Natalia Kovaleva is not competing. She's focused on the Olympia, and Sheila Oleg, she's not competing because she says she's going to compete next year. So
Mhm.
truthfully, whatever Natalia's doing, it's not enough. It's not going to be enough to beat Andrea. It's not enough.
It's hard, man.
Mm,
you
yeah.
know.
Oh, we got a hater here. We got a hater. Got a hater. We know who he is. Raheem
Oh.
Hamilton. Andrea's not going to win. Oh my God.
Why are you always hating, bro?
Because he's a
Bring your
hater.
ass on,
Haters.
bring your ass on the show so we can debate.
Oh,
I always want to put. Are
yeah,
you at work again? Are you at work again?
no, he can't be off work because you know what? It's after 4 o'clock. He said he gets off work at 4. So hey, all you gotta do is find if you have public Wi-Fi, find a McDonald's, find a Walmart,
Starbucks.
Starbucks, sit in the parking lot. You got to buy some at Starbucks. I got to pay with that, brother. After Starbucks is not for black
Uh,
people. But find a place with some good Wi-Fi. Come on, hey, the link is in the comment section of the video. You can pop in anytime you want.
I mean, but I'm thinking like, does she gonna get bored, like just be like winning or stuff? How far you think she could go?
That's the thing. Look at this good example of this. Irish Kyle won 10 Miss Olympias. He only lost once.
They don't get
But
bored though, like with that though.
it's about competition. When you're competing, see, as fans, we eventually if after a while you get tired of seeing the Patriots win every year. You get tired of it. You just you get tired of it, and then
Hey,
you get
who
tired of
gets
it.
tired of money? You
Yeah,
get tired of money?
no, but
You get
the
No,
tired of
fans.
you get tired of. I mean, Andrea. Let's think about it. I mean, Andrea's probably made almost $500,000 in the last 3 years. What part of that do you get? And you only got to do 2 shows a year. What part of that do you get tired from?
Yeah,
but
plus
I
you get
mean,
sponsorship.
but then again, it's not as big though. Bodybuilding is not as big because I'm looking at it as like basketball or football,
Yeah,
and
you can't look at it that way,
You
though.
can't look at
yeah,
that. It's
I
not the
mean,
yeah.
think
same
about it. You're
sport.
sitting there saying basketball or football, but does WNBA women make money like NBA guys do? No.
No,
No, no,
So you got to
no.
look at it that way.
yeah.
You
If you
know,
look at
you
it like
can't look
this,
at
if you look at professional boxers make more money than guys in the UFC. The highest
yeah.
paid
Yeah.
UFC fighter,
Hold
that's
on.
John Jones, doesn't make as much money as a guy who's maybe
Floyd Mayweather.
yeah. Because you remember that fight with him, Floyd. Floyd didn't fight for anything more or less than under 100 mil. Floyd got at least about 100 mil out of that fight. Conor got maybe 50K out of it, and then he had to give Dana White beater his cut. So and even we just lost my brother here. He'll probably come back. I think he has issues with his Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Even when Conor gave Dana Whitebeard his cut because he had to allow him to fight, he had to give him a cut. He still had enough money to do what he wanted to do. He didn't fight for almost 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Here we have from Raheem Hamilton. He says this. Raheem says, Ty's going to win the Miss Olympia. Mark my words. Well, your words don't mean nothing, Raheem. She's not going to win. Stefan Prey says, Andrea is unstoppable. And I agree with him. He says, October 9th. Oh, you want to come on October 9th? See, is that a Monday? Oh, yeah. You can come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. We want you. We want you.
Oh, yeah, gonna have that debate.
Yeah, we want you. We want you, Raheem. We want you.
I think he live in I think he live in NYC.
He says,
yeah, he live in NYC.
He says Andrea can't be stopped. No, she can't be stopped. This is not, only way Andrea be stopped if she decided to stop herself. It's said again, Andrea has that balance. Her overall balance from the tip of the toes to the top of her head. She has balance. The problem with Natalia, she has a pretty physique, but the thing that hurts her most of all is her titties are too damn big. They take away from her overall aesthetics. You got, Andre for a while. You saw Andre had big, fake boobs, but she has big pecs. She has a big chest. Natalia is just, and she's not even as put together. She has some good aspects to her. She does have size. She's slightly taller. I saw her in person when I was in Savannah. She's taller because her and LA who are near and does speak about the same height. But she does not. She's not ever going to get those overall, especially if your jugs are bigger than your head. He says, WNBA makes 6 figures. And that's pretty good for but they're never going to make as much as the guys in the NBA because they don't bring in as much money, and it's really the money from the NBA is keeping the WNBA together. Okay, he says this also. He says it's all about revenue at the end of the day. Yes, that's what it is. And bodybuilding doesn't bring as much revenue. It does pretty good in its sport compared to football. Like this, you cannot really. You might need like this. It's true that maybe bodybuilders should have the same aspects of like sports like football, basketball, or even hockey, or even other sports. But it's not the same because the fact is, it's not Main Street enough. No one wants to get up and say, "I want to be Nick Walker. I want to be Andrea Shaw." Kids grow up and I want to be like Mike, or
nobody don't talk about it. Nobody don't talk about it
because people they talk about it, they get ostracized for it. They say, "Are you weird? Something wrong with you?"
Yeah.
But even though, hey, I like interviews I do with ladies, they love the sport. They're fans of it. They wish there was more money for them, more whatever else. Wait a minute, here he goes again. He says, he's just a hater. He say, Andrea's gonna be 40. Father Time is undefeated. Well, you know what? She's fitting them off pretty well because you can't tell she's 40. She's gonna be 40 in December. She's gonna be 39 in November. Even she's still 40. She still looks
She's
good.
Still young. I mean, she's young.
If you compare it to some of the other ladies, like some of the ladies who get into sport late in life, who can't even get that, but then if you compete along, she's competing and building, growing, developing. Eventually she will lose, but right now, as my man Keith said, and he was told, is Andrea and everybody else. But you know what? You can't convince Raheem. He's in his own mind, his own world, so let him have that. But the truth of the matter is, when your lipper come around, and if Natalia's lucky enough to crack the top 5, that's the best she's gonna get. You still have to worry about Angela Yo, Chelsea Dion, someone like a dark horse like Julia Wetzel, or even Michaela Aycock, who's been top 5 before. Now Hella's out of the way. That's a slot that one of those girls can take. It's about what really, truthfully, the judges are going to see. The judges are going to go by criteria. If like I say, if Andrea didn't do the mistake like back in the day when Iris Cow was competing, when she won the title and beat Linda Murray, she came back next year, lost to Yaxino King, because the judges were saying we're going to go with different criteria, and she decided to say, okay, I'm going to go with that grid criteria. But Yaxini changed her criteria. She came in just as big and hard, and they went with Yaxini. You got to hear my man here. He's back.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. I know you get the bad Wi-Fi. Here we have here.
Yeah, I hate when they be acting up like that, man.
Terrible.
Yeah. My problem is that I think I need a better computer. I got good Wi-Fi. I just need a better computer. This computer this is a YouTube computer my sister gave me. I use this because my other computer, I don't know why it doesn't want me to show my pictures anymore.
Your computer is better than mine. Trust me.
Yeah. It's a good computer. I might update and get another one later down the road, but this is a good computer. It's been good for me for a good while. How do you get tired of being the best in the world? And you shouldn't. Like people like the big Romneys, the Nick Walkers, the Jay Cutlers, the Ronnie Colemans, the Corey Eversons, the Linda Murrays. You
only get tired when you lose. You get tired when you get knocked off your throne.
Yeah.
Or something was wrong. I mean, like, think about it. Ronnie Lee Haney, had 8. Iris, Iris only stopped being a champion because they got rid of women's bodybuilding. I mean, because she had taken women's bodybuilding to the extreme and it became less appealing to the fans. You know, so I mean, it's like anything. You know, when Sean Ray announced that they're bringing women's bodybuilding back and Jake took over and brought Wings of Strength back, it's one of those things where they said this is what the criteria is, but it always, excuse my language, audience, it always fucking falls back to what it was. You know, if you said that Iris was that, you know, and here's the thing, it's like Micaiah. I respect them because their conditioning is superior, but the last time I seen Iris, I was at the Olympia when she won her last title, and she looked like a fucking skeleton. It was crazy. I was scared the shit out of me, honestly. You know, and then when I actually had a conversation with her, it was I thought it was some little fucking dude. I'm like, what the fuck? You know? So, but again, what we're talking about is the IFBB and the NPC have the power. It's like when you watch football. I played pro ball for 8 years. All the rules are changing every year to protect the players from concussions, everything. The IFBB in the NPC, which is one, has the capability to do whatever they want in the sport, but they're not. That's why we have this gray fucking area with women's physique and women's bodybuilding, right? Because you're not setting a guideline, and like we've talked about this before, set a guideline, have a rule book, say this is what we want. I've been in judges' meetings as a judge when they said, this is what we want when women's physique first came out. This is what we're looking for in women's physique. You know, now you got women's bodybuilding back. This is the new look that we want in women's bodybuilding. I've heard a person that we won't specifically say on the show said that she didn't want to go to women's bodybuilding because she wanted to stay pretty. So as we talk about this figure thing and all these things, that's the whole fallacy of the nature of women's figure, women's physique, women's bodybuilding. I remember when Tina, my wife, won the Wings of Strength, the Rising Phoenix show, a physique girl goes, why would you want to do that class? And she's like, what? Why would I want to do that class? And she said, because, you know, clearly I can't win in women's physique because I'm too big. And my wife's a beautiful chick. Now I'm just saying that because of her husband, you know. So you get this fallacy of these women physique girls and these women women's figure girls saying, oh, I don't want to go down that path because they're not pretty. That's when I say that feminine look. When you see a Chelsea or Andrea or my wife or some of these other girls or Christina Mendoza, you know, and onslaught of other girls that I'm leaving out, they a couple of Mila, and you see these beautiful girls that you have, the girl that you just seen. You see all these beautiful girls. You should look at that or look at Andrea and says, and this was told to me by John Simmons, the Champions coach, who coaches my wife as well. These women are chasing after something they shouldn't be chasing after. If you're gonna, here's a prime example. If you look at Christina Mendoza at the Chicago Pro this year and watch her pose, and her presentation was exactly like whose? Andrea's. Because if you want to beat the champ, you're going to have to, sometimes, as we used to call it back in the day, bite some of her fucking moves. And everything that she did reminded me of Andrea Shaw. Now, does Christina Mendoza, I understand everybody's having this debate about Christina Mendoza. Here's the thing with Christina Mendoza that I'm waiting to see. And if you're not a world of bodybuilding, as simple as this, she's been invited to world championship for 3 years in a row and dropped out because she wasn't in shape. So I need to see Christina Mendoza consistent before I'm going to throw her name in the hat. Consistency is the name of this game. When you're consistent, then I'm a fan of Christina. Me and her boyfriend, when my wife beat her at the Rising Phoenix to turn pro, we were talking shit to each other. But me and Joey are friends. But Christina, from that show, when she lost to Tina, hadn't been consistent until this year. She has a beautiful look, crazy quads, gorgeous girl, but the lack of consistency is what concerns me. And on top of that, she's always saying, well, I can't wait to be on, like she's premeditating And that's good to be confident, but it's a little bit arrogant saying that you're going to knock out the champ when you just won your first show. Well, shit, the champ won 3 world championships and 3 Olympias. So to sit there and say you're going to knock her out, and she's sitting there, and again, George, we had this discussion before. Margie and Helena stood on stage with Andrea Shaw, and Helena was like, oh, when I turn around from the back and my condition in my glutes, and Margie's like this and the other, and this is Andrea. Okay. Bring that to, you can talk all the fucking shit you want, but you got to bring that shit to the stage. And guess what happened? They lost again. Andrea ain't about, hey, it's that old saying, don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're looking for what, and here's the thing, if Steve Weinberger, who's the godfather and Tyler now, and Sandy, are the godfathers and the godmothers of our sport that control and dictate the sport, sits there on a YouTube channel and says there's Andrea and there's everybody else, you might want to take note of what you should be doing and do your homework and your due diligence on how to beat her. Why do you think my wife's training with John?
Yeah.
Because Tina's a high-bred bodybuilder, but we've been lacking some things from some other coaches. And so I went up to John. Andrea went up to my wife and says, I heard that you think about working with John. It'd be a good move for you. What the hell you think the next move was? Is to move over, because like John, and I love this guy because we have candid conversations about what's going on with my wife, but he understands, working with Linda back in the day, now working with Andrea, amongst a lot of other people, he understands that these girls are chasing something that they really we should be chasing after. And if you're going to chase after, it's just like when Phil became the Olympian. I remember working out at Ambrose Gym, and Phil said, I asked Ronnie Coleman, how the hell did you get those striated glutes? Flex could never beat Ronnie. Jay understood that he kept chasing after Ronnie, but he didn't have the condition. So he dropped down in weight, brought better condition, and finally beat the champ. It was Ed Ronnie's going for his ninth Olympia at the time, but he understood in order to beat the champion, you have to look at what they're doing in their camp and says, let's bring some of that shit over, because that's the only way you're gonna beat the champ. Or maybe I'm wrong. But I'm a student of the game, and that's the way I look at it.
Well, Keith, we got comments from somebody. You know who it is. He says this. Shit. CM Punk said he's the best in the world. He says CM Punk, the wrestler. Also he says, he says this. He says,
I don't know what I'm talking about, huh?
Yeah. And also
he's trying to get into your skin, Keith.
Right?
Wait a minute. He said, Keith got that. Hey, Keith, you know what? He's here.
Hey. Bring his ass on.
Come on, boy. Come down, boy. Come get your whooping, boy.
Okay.
Come get your whooping, boy. Come get your whooping, boy. There you go, boy.
Come get your whooping on this show.
Come get your whooping, boy.
Don't hide. I'm right here every week. I'm here. Don't hide.
Speak up, son.
Show your face.
Don't hide.
Man on here.
Say I don't know.
You talking all this crap.
Talking all this shit. I've been a pro for 14 years and studied this game, and you're gonna tell me I don't know what I'm talking about? Come on, where you at? I'm waiting for you.
Speak, boy. The man on here.
Oh, he has Starbucks with his shitty ass Wi-Fi. My battery just died.
I told him go to Walmart. Oh, no, you don't have Walmart up in New York. Oh, go to McDonald's.
It depends on McDonald's. McDonald's sometimes they be acting up.
Well, I know, when I was out earlier, I had to take a friend. And he had to go stay at the place for a while because they work out of his house. And I leave my phone on Wi-Fi, so I use the Wi-Fi in my house. I don't try to use my data too much. My data's not that strong.
I got 2 satellites at my house, so I'm good.
Yeah, but like I said, when I go to Walmart, as soon as I hit the parking lot, I get messages. I mean, it just clicks. We go in Walmart. Like sometimes I'm like, because sometimes I got bad knees. I Stone Cold Steve Austin. I ride the little riding thing. And
Quit just. Hey, here's the thing. I would tell him, quit just being a fanboy. Do your homework. Do your due diligence. That's what I do. My wife. Here's the thing. My wife is a great bodybuilder. She was Rookie of the Year 4 years ago when she came into this sport. But I know realistic goals is for her to place in the top 5. She has a long way to go to even, get to Andrea's level because Andrea is already there. And you have to understand, Mr. Man, this is not just women's bodybuilding. You got to look at the Kim Shasteskis, the Iris Kyles, the Linda Murrays of the world. It took a lot. It took a lot. Even Alina was close to beating Iris. But if you can't knock out the champ, you can't just be a fanboy and say, oh, whether it's Christina, whoever, Nadia, whoever you're talking about, saying that they're going to beat the champ. It's just, here's the thing. If a person is preparing for one fight and you got to fight 5 fights to get to that one fight, who's going to be burnt out and exhausted?
The challenger.
Exactly. So that's all I'm saying. Andrea is getting ready for one fight. She understands what she has to bring to the table to defend her title. And all these other girls are chasing her. They're chasing her. So if she comes off, here's the thing. I'll tell people this. When I won my first world championship and beat Carl Lewis in Atlanta, Georgia, and nobody gave me a chance. I took that to press, USA Today, and everybody said, we all lace up our shoes the same way. Y'all all put y'all bikinis and suits looks on the same way. But it's when you take that shit off is what's going to define what you look like and if you're going to be able to beat the champ. That's the day at the end of the day. Any game, any competition, anybody can be beat. As we put Andrea on this pedestal, all I'm saying is you're going to have to do a lot, especially the evolution of the world of bodybuilding, men and women. If you look at here's the thing, go back and look at the champions there. I think that's your only one at once. But if you look at the evolution of bodybuilding, men and women, and go down and look and see how many people the Arnold Schwarzeneggers. I mean, Lou Ferrigno could never beat Arnold. That was his biggest nemesis. He could never beat Arnold. But if you look at the evolution of bodybuilding, men's and women, and look how many titles these people have won. And we can go now, besides Dexter, the Ronnies, the Dorian Yates, the Lee Haneys,
Jay Cutler,
the Iris Kyles, the Linda Murrays, the Kim Shasteskis, et cetera, et cetera. These women have won, and men have won multiple titles because they have been consistent. So Andrea's still young. She's still, and if you look at men, it's even crazier because Phil, Ronnie, all those guys, once they won the title, they do one show a year because they know that bag is better doing than any other thing. Sometimes they'll do the Arnold because it's a big bag, but those guys save up for one show a year because they know that big purse is the only thing they're going for because, hell, you got a guy can place, 7th or 10th in Olympia, still win 10 grand at a show, which they have to win any other show. All the shows people have to understand are, besides Arnold Olympia, the bags are about 10 grand until you get to those shows. So you have to understand these athletes like Andrea, like, like the champions, they're saving up because they're like, I don't need to do these shows. Look, I mean, we just looked at the girl who placed, third at the show in Spain. She got $500.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Here's right. He says, I'm back.
With no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, he says, I was cut off. What did I miss? Well, you missed too much because you came back in time. Because also he says, I'm not a fanboy. I love to stare at the hornet's nest. Well, the thing is, you got to be careful. Hornets can sting. Hornets can sting. Also, he says,
you better get that EpiPen, man. God damn it.
Yeah. Also, he says nothing but respect for bodybuilders. Appreciate the respect.
We're just fucking around here.
We just busting your balls like how they tell you. We just busting your balls, man. We just busting your balls. We busting your balls. get pussy on the phone, and Tony Soprano, hey, fugazi about it, that's a bad. But yeah, it's just we talk about this. This is like I said. We go back to again how here you go. He says he says y'all can
You can
never bust
hear.
my balls.
Hey,
We just did.
hey, why? Show your face. Come on, bro. We all here. It's
We
all
all
friendly
men here,
fire.
boy.
It's all friendly conversation.
We all men here, boy. We're men out here, boy. Get step up.
Hey, it's just like it's a great saying from Dorian Yates when he won the Night of Champions. He was second at the Night of Champions, and he qualified for the Olympia. And the guy goes, "Well, are you going to Olympia?" And Dorian looks at him and says, "Why would I go to Olympia? I was second. I got to win the fucking show." Then when Dorian came back the next year and won the Night of Champions in New York, he went to the Olympia stage and won the Olympia. And his boy says, "I must educate." He goes, "You must educate them. You must educate them." Meaning when he got on stage, he was about to bust their ass. He said, "You must educate them." I said, "That's what we're talking about." I said, when you ready, and word through the grapevine that Andrew's looking kind of good right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite rappers back in the day, Kiara says, "You must learn." And that's what you have to learn. He says this. He says, he says this way because, but all jokes aside, the facts is the bodybuilder only need two people to be the face of the sport. Well, I think most definitely it needs. Look at members. You got to think. You have all these divisions, and each division needs a representative. Maybe you might need more than one. Like think about it. If you look at men's open, you get guys like Heidi. Then you look at 212. You look at men's classic. You have Sebum. Then you look at figure. You have Sydney.
Candid. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and then you have Andrea, who is bodybuilding, and I think is a coin flip between Sarah and Natalia. For me personally, I think Brooke Walker will be the better face. She has the
What about
better look.
bikini?
I don't know who's. I don't really follow bikini like that. Whoever it is, it can be anybody. That's the division where anybody, even with wellness, but there's particularly almost anybody could be the face for those divisions if they had all the right.
I was just joking. I was teasing you.
Right now, it's like Whitney, and it's like who was the girl for years was the fitness champion. She's the most talented.
Oksana Soil.
Oh yeah,
Russian,
it took years for somebody to beat her. And Oksana competed for a long time, and it's just one of those things. But sometimes it's like Kai, it's like Flex chasing after Ronnie. It's like Kai chasing after Phil. In my division, it's Jay chased after Ronnie for 8 years. He chased after Ronnie to beat to beat Ronnie, and it was frustrating for him. So again, what I say to people when it comes to this sport that I'm in, that I'm IFBB Pro in, is consistency and understanding. It was like when Sean beat Phil, his trainer said that he knew that he was going to beat Phil because Jim Mannion and Steve Weinberger asked him to come sit up in the front with him. So that's when he knew that he was going to beat Phil. When Sean Roden, God bless his soul, who's no longer with us, was going to beat Phil, he knew because they had him come sit up with him. So that was the time and Phil, I think, was going for his 7th title, because he won 6. But, Phil was a little off. He was having issues with the hernia in his belly and things like that. And Sean took full advantage of it. I remember seeing Sean in Springfield was like, me and Chad was like, is he even going to make it? Is he going to be ready? And he came out and gave Phil a little ass whooping, but it was debate over poses. People understand there's a lot of poses. In bodybuilding, there's a lot of poses to be done. Andrew will win some and she lose some, but at the end of the day, which poses are those? Because we're never going to see that until she's on stage with the other girls that have now qualified for the Olympia. So then we'll get a better understanding. But right now, she is the queen and the is in what everybody's chasing after, in my opinion, but again, that's just my opinion.
This is
Raheem.
from Stefan Prey. He says Andrea's muscle development cover is beautiful. I would love to find that magazine. I have to probably order it because it used to be back then you used to get muscle magazine at Walmart, but they don't carry them anymore. And I think she said, somebody told me you had to go to a B. Dalton's or Barnes Noble. But where I live at, the closest is probably like maybe 50, 60 towns away. And that's Fayetteville. And
wow,
I love Andrea, but that's a lot of gas got to burn, and I got to find the Barnes and Noble. So I love it, but I'll probably see if I can find an issue.
And unfortunately, we live in the world where everything's online now, so everybody's going away from the magazines.
It probably could get it.
I can walk to my local grocery store. I have a stack of muscular developments that I'm in. I can go to muscular, but now I can't find one of those damn things anywhere.
No, not grocery stores. Every now and then you might see her fitness or issue of muscle fitness every now and then, but generally most of the muscle mags is going to my man Glenn, his muscle mag, he does have hard copies, but most of the stuff is on the internet. His Raheem who likes porting sticks at Hornet's Nest, he says this.
Hiding.
Yeah, he says it's gonna come up. I think if steroids is so dangerous, why are there shows around the world? I mean, DA and law enforcement would be shut shows down. It's not about steroids. It's about his thing is most countries are not the same as the United States. DEA is a limited amount. It mostly work within America and also maybe some parts of Mexico. They can't police the world. And like I said again, steroid is only a small factor, Raheem, of if you don't follow like Keith said, if you're not consistent, you don't follow your diet, this and that, whatever steroids, it's not going to make you. It's like the whole thing with Barry Bonds. I say he was on steroids, but Barry was still hitting the ball out.
Here's the thing. I was in Generation Iron with the first one that came out, Raheem, and Ben Plowski, who's a very educated guy who was one of the top bodybuilders for a long time, said his exact words: "I can give you the same shit as I do, but you're never going to look like me because you're not willing to put in the work." So everybody, let's get this fallacy correct. It's not about drugs. I mean, is it involved in the sport? Yes. But there's a lot of other shit that goes into it. The food, it's like Ronnie Coleman getting his police card when he was a cop, who, Ronnie was the biggest man on the fucking planet, an 8-time Olympia. He says, everybody want to be a bodybuilder, but nobody want to
lift a heavy ass weight.
Lift all this heavy ass weight. It takes a certain kind of person, a certain individual, because it's not easy to get these pro cards. I can tell you that for being a 4-time runner-up at USA's and Nationals. So it's not about one thing or another. It's about a plethora of things as far as being able to get to this level. There's like me playing pro football or me winning Olympic medals or world championships. Only certain many people get to do that because it takes consistency and hard work and training to do that. So you have to understand it's not for everybody, so that's like George said, that's a part of it. And we're never going to get away from that. I'm not going to ever fool the fans and say it's not involved in our sport because it is. But that's a part of it. I tell my clients 80% of what I do for them is their diet. 20% is training, cardio, and all the other shit. But their diet, if you're not on point, it don't matter. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a good trainer that can bring you into a show and be consistent. And Andrea Shaw, on her video last year at the World Championship, said she actually didn't think she was going to be making it back to the World Championship because she almost died. So did Maya. Mila got sick too. So these girls understand the things that they're doing, not drugs, other things. Andrea, remember you said, George, you seen her at Savannah. She's a little big. She's a little big, and she had to get herself back in shape to defend her title. So she did some kind of diet pill or something, and the shit almost killed her. And then when she walked out on the stage, she goes, "But I'm back." Because now I think after that episode, she understood that getting too big during the offseason. I mean, you just showed a picture of Irene and Helena. You see how big those girls are during the offseason? Yeah. So they have to grow and have to bring themselves down. And that has to do with a number of things besides steroids. Yeah. And I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying when people say that, they think, oh, you take a shot in your ass, And like Ben said, I give you all the shit that I take, but you're never gonna look like me because you don't want to put in all the work that I have to put in to do this shit.
Yeah. He says this. He says having Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, the bodybuilding, maybe, or the he says also the MJ or the MJ of bodybuilding, maybe, but you can the sports are very different from Magic and Larry Bird and all the rest of these guys. Also, he says this. He says, Arnold had the charisma and the marketing ability to sell the sport. True. Just like how Kai Green had, he switched. Also, you got a lot of these things. I got to drop these. He says that that's what's hurting the sport now, that because you have no bodybuilder that has that charisma. You do, but people don't pay attention to bodybuilding like they do other sports.
It's a niche. Here's the thing, Raheem. It's a niche thing. You have to understand. The interesting thing that you said that, because I'm watching a series called The Dynasty of the Los Angeles Lakers. And at the final finale that I watched last night, they said, if it wasn't, and you're absolutely right, if it wasn't for Larry Bird and Magic Johnson pumped life back into basketball, back into the NBA, and Jerry Buss. Because Jerry Buss is the dude with the courtside seat and the cheerleaders and all this other shit and everything else. Those two guys pushed life back into the world of the NBA. Also, if we're talking about charisma, then Kai was especially after Generation Iron, Kai is a fan favorite. Everybody loves Kai. Everybody hated Phil. Think he's an arrogant prick. I know Phil, he's different. He kind of changed a little bit, but nobody liked Phil. Everybody loves Kai. Kai will come on this damn show and have a conversation and probably talk your ear off more than I will. He's just a great dude, but he just couldn't win. So when you're talking about, you have to understand, Raheem, this is not about the competitors. This is about the judges who they want the face of the sport to be. Flake Wheeler probably had the most beautiful body in the world of bodybuilding, but can never get past Ronnie. Well, it's just what it is, because you have to understand, Raheem, we're in the world, me and my wife, who are pros, are in the world to a subjective point of view by 7 to 10 judges who are judging us based off of what they like and what they want. Do they always agree? No, look at George just showed you some of the scorecards and how inconsistent they are. That's the world that we live in. I call this sport the definition of insanity, because if you don't have thick skin and toughness about it, you're not going to last very long in it.
Well, here he is back again. Maybe this time we get him to speak. Come on, boy.
Come on.
Come on, son. No, he's
you
out
talking
again.
about my damn old Wi-Fi. Really?
Yeah, he talking about called Obama Wi-Fi, yo.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show a little. Wait a minute here. Come on. You better have. You don't keep coming out here. If you come out one more time, I'm not gonna let you on, Raheem. Okay.
He teasing me.
He teasing. I'm not teasing.
Okay.
Nah, I'm not teasing. It was.
Hey, you got. That's some hard.
I'm not teasing.
Well, he put some info. Maybe this time we get to speak. Come on, boy.
I'm not teasing. I'm not. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah, we hear you.
We hear
echoes.
I know.
I'm gonna show a little. Wait a minute.
My phone. I got. Can you hear me?
You keep coming out here.
No. It's not that.
He teasing me.
I'm not teasing.
I'm not thinking you because yeah, Raheem. I mean, you need to get some headphones, brother. But we're gonna do this for you, Raheem. We're gonna show you a video, and this is the champion. And wait a minute. We're gonna pull it up. Hello.
Everybody there?
What happened? Yeah. What happened?
I think I don't know. It's maybe me. My thing, like I said, because I think Raheem's having problems, but We're gonna pull this video, Raheem, of the champion. Where is it? Okay. We'll put a video of the champion. Wait a minute. There she is. Andrea
Hey,
Shaw.
she look nice.
Now, this is from, I think, the last year's World Championship. And, come on. He's saying his mic's having issues. Yeah, that's why it's best if you use earplugs because, you don't reverberate back. I'll get it here. But yeah, it's just Andrea, as I said, is a complete package. Look at the back. Look at the glutes, her quads. It's just. He has earbuds. Okay. I mean, it's just she's a complete package.
Yep.
And still, he thinks, I don't know what world he is, he thinks that Natalia is going to beat this. She's going to beat this woman.
That's show Natalia. Show Natalia.
Well,
it's right to show that.
I gotta go find some of Natalia. Right now, we're just right now. She's not. She's just look at her. She's pretty.
Yeah.
Her
she looks nice. I'm looking at her.
Yeah, I mean, I can't put
Here's
because
the thing. We're looking at her, and Raheem, you asked the question. You said we need somebody with charisma. If you've never met Andrea Shaw, she is the most elegant, the most humble, the most friendly. You wouldn't even know that she's a champion, to be honest. You wouldn't even know that.
Can you hear me? We have a little echo.
Elegant, the most humble,
Do you see echo?
Yeah, we still hear something. We still hear something.
I tried to adjust this mic. Hold on.
What you
Why don't you lower it? Why don't you lower it?
I tried to adjust this mic. Hold on.
Why don't you lower it? Why don't you lower it?
We got a face. We got a face. We got a face.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. You good? Yeah, you good. Sometimes you got to remember if you watch it on the video on YouTube in your indie stream yard. You got to. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's going on. It might be something with those. Plugs. Yeah, it's best to use. Good old fashioned. Because I don't know. It's just something like that. Yeah, it's best to use. Well, we're just gonna put you on mute because you're still reverberating. But whatever you get it right, we'll have it on. We're gonna put you on mute. Sorry, Raheem, because you're still kind of giving us feedback. Yeah. It's best that but
But as I was saying, it's one of those things where is he talking about charisma and representation of the sport of women's bodybuilding? It's it's like the year that Dexter won it. He was at a press conference and he said, I'm just a bodybuilder. I'm not here to represent anybody but myself. No, you're not. You're here to represent the sport. And that was the only title that that Dexter ever won. And I love Dexter. He's a big bro to me. But the consistency of champions is the pillars of our sport to represent our sport as Ronnie or Dorian or, even Flex for that matter, the Kevins, the Lynn, and even people had a problem with Iris because they just felt that I was just winning titles, but she wasn't a face that you wanted representing the sport of women's bodybuilding. Because as she got more conditioned and won more titles, that look, no offense to Iris, became more masculine. and it just wasn't appealing to people. So if it's not appealing to people, that's why they got rid of it, because at the time it just wasn't appealing to people. And so when they brought it back, the whole fallacy was that they were going to bring out a more feminine look, not as hard. The Andrea Shaw, let's just say that's the look they finally found. When you look at Alina, who won it, when you look at Helena, who won it, these are girls who were, they were beautiful girls, so they were great shape, great bodies, but you could tell they start straying away from that Iris Kyle look. And I was super interested. Was it 2 years ago, George, when Iris got sick in Orlando and was going to do the show, how she was going to fare against Andrea with the two different looks?
Yeah, that was the year when they were bringing back women's bodybuilding. You had just about everybody else there. You had Zinni came out of retirement for the show. She competed at the show. And Iris, I think, said people thought it was the C19. Thought it was the virus. But she said, I was even talking to one point. Said, "What happened with you?" Said, she had got the flu, and people are going to see how she's going to compare to, because she hadn't competed for nearly 6 years. She wanted to compete at the Rise of Phoenix in 2016, but then they used that, and this is why I feel like this. That was some bullshit what they did to her, saying, "Oh, you got to do another show." But Alina didn't do a show for almost 2 years, and they gave her a shot. I understand you may not feel like Iris didn't do enough for the sport.
Well, here's the thing. Let's keep it 100.
Okay.
Iris went on Generation Iron 2 and started talking shit about Jake. And when you're talking shit about the guy who's, the money behind the machine, you just don't do that. And you got to understand, Wings of Strength, because Robin changed, so let's clear the fucking air right now. Jake wanted the Women's Olympia title for the Rising Phoenix. He wanted to buy it. And they put a heavy-ass price tag on that title. So Jake said, okay, and this is story, this is fact, it's not something I'm making up. Said, okay, fuck off, fuck you. I'm just going to have the world championship. I'm going to make this a women's symposium for all women and give them their chance to shine and create the world championships. More money, because Iris was only, at the time when she went on Olympia, she was only winning about 35 grand when she was winning. So great, every year, if you notice, Jake has put more his money behind the money behind the machine and put his money where his mouth was. Iris got mad because she just didn't get in. They said, we're different. It's like going to a different federation. Wings of Strength World Championship is different than Olympia. We understand and respect that you're the 10-time Miss Olympia, but here's the thing. When Rising Phoenix says we're going with a different look for women's bodybuilding to see how you fare, if you're as good as you say you are, and here's the thing. If I'm Iris and I've won 10 titles and I'm that good and there's 50 grand in a car on the line, fuck it, I'll do it. I'm stealing money. I told Dexter every time he does a show against us and all the way to qualify for Olympia, you stealing money from the little folks. So she had her opportunity to do Worlds or qualify and do a show where she could have made some money and then made some more money and this is the question, if that look, and we don't know what that look is because we're speculating, what would be the look that she had before they got rid of women's bodybuilding if they were still going to go down that unbeaten path or pick somebody else? That's what we're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what it boils down to. It wasn't about them disrespecting Iris. They basically said, hey, do a show, qualify, come to the show, and let the cards lay where they may after that. But Iris felt, because she was a 10-time Miss Olympia, which again, Jake Woods wanted to buy the Women's Olympia title. They put a hefty price tag on it. So Jake said, kiss my ass. I'm just going to boost up the prize money for women's bodybuilding at the World Championship and throw in the whip. Every woman loved it, right? Everybody loved it because they're like, and if you've ever been to World Championships, where I've been to 4 or 5, it's the unbelievable production by Wings of Strength and, Wings of Strength, what they do for these women to give them their own platform. And so it's only fair, Iris, if you wanted to come in, you had to qualify like all these other girls. And I understand what you're saying about Alina, but Alina also came in and, won a world championship, got a Corvette, $50,000 out the deal, decided that she was going to walk away because they offered her a job and she's making way more money than competing in women's bodybuilding, and that's what she did. You know,
and she's promoting,
huh?
And she's
Absolutely,
promoting.
she's a promoter of what? How many shows in Romania? She won't even be at the World Championships this year because she has a show in Romania at the same time.
Yeah, because I think actually the show in Romania is going to be the week after the Olympia. But yeah, I forgot the other show, the Valhalla show. That's a amateur show, but I bet you if they do it like I said before, they can make it a pro am show in the future. I mean, it's been gone on for at least 2 or 3 years, and but I think you probably won't do it because you already have you already have the Romanian Muscle Fest, but you never know. We're here. We have here my man Stefan Prey says Iris was not markable. And also a man he says next time. Okay, brother. The next time, make sure you get those buds. Don't do it. You got to get the good old fashioned, or be someplace where it doesn't reverberate or something. But it'll make KL before he heads out. Yeah, it's just we're gonna do KL a favor because he asked about seeing a video with Natalia, and I'm going to pull it up here. And it's I think it's from the New York Pro, and it's her performing. Like I said, and like I said, she's impressive. But here's the thing: is again, we all know what's the thing that's going to hold her back. These are all the other competitors, from that New York Pro.
Here's the thing, George. This drives me crazy.
I like the first one. I ain't gonna lie. What's her name, Natalia? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, but here's the thing that you guys have to understand. This is the best shape Natalia's ever been in her life. And I've seen her do shows and she's just been off. Christina Mendoza. This sport is based off of consistency.
This one right here.
Andrea, she looked great in this show. But can she? The question is, when she gets to the next show, whether it's girls or I've seen girls look good at a show, get to Worlds and look like trash. I've seen girls, Irene was out of the top 5 at the World Championships, but then placed in the top 5 at the Olympia. And Irene admitted that she was off. So you guys have to understand, this is not about this look. It's about, can they maintain this look? And Boswell said it best after she won Master Olympia. Can she hold on to what she got and make it better for 2 more shows? That's the question.
Yeah, her tits is kind of big. It's in the way of her physique. I gotta agree with you, George. I see the boobs.
So it's one of those things that it's just about consistency. And because I've seen this girl compete in several shows. Yes, this is the best package she brought to the stage. Christina Mendoza, best package she's brought to the stage. But can you bring that to 2 more shows and be consistent? That's the question. And I guess we'll wait to see. But proof is in the pudding to me, and I just haven't seen it.
Well, sir, you the bodybuilder. I wouldn't even try to even play myself and go against you or what George saying. George, he's the professor.
Yes.
So
Professor X.
Yeah, that's your new name, Professor X. Yeah, Professor X.
You know what?
Yeah.
I might put that as a moniker. Call me Professor X. But but the thing is, like I said again, she's not going to do the right. She's not doing the Rising. She's going to do the Olympia. And even though if you're not going to do, you go focus on the Olympia. That's cool. You might can get top 3, maybe top 5, but you're not going to beat Andrea, no matter what. Here my man Raheem saying this. He says there's no issue with her breast. It looks great, man. It's
You're just focusing on the. I see. I'm looking at the tits before I'm even looking at the muscle. That's true.
Were you not on Were you not on the podcast last week? Did you not listen to what we talked about? That's my question.
Yeah, he probably
ladies that we had on the show.
Yeah, because we talked. Miss Michelle Facetta, Wendy Heaslip, also our dear lovely friend Miss Mary Ann. We talked about how some days get them because they get breast implants because it it's for aesthetic reasons. With Wendy, because she had had double mastectomy because she had cancer, breast cancer. Michelle got it because she felt it made her more symmetrical, and Marianne had her reason why she got hers. The thing is,
I'm gonna tell you, by knowing Natalia, I've sat next to her at the Olympia when we all sit as a family at the show because we're Wings and Strength family with my wife, and we're there. She's not a very nice girl. She don't speak very good, English. And on top of that, when you said that you want somebody to represent the sport, that's not the person I would want, to represent the sport of women's bodybuilding. Just say it. Because again, I will put money on this. Let's say she wins the title, that would be the first and only year she wins the title because she just has not been consistent enough for me to see. I mean, she's gotten progressively better, but she just hasn't been consistent enough in her conditioning and everything that she does to stand as a champion like all the other people we've talked about on this show. Just saying.
Yeah, she's gonna more like a Yadzina King situation, be a one-hit wonder. Not like how when Linda lost to Kim Zaveski. Kim Zaveski, but then one thing people keep forgetting, Kim Zaveski, her look by the last Miss Olympia '99 for her, it really changed. Everybody talking about Iris, but Kim changed it also. Raheem, he's a sass. He's a sass. He says Natalia got the Miss O on in the bag. Look at her. Wow.
Well,
yeah,
okay.
She looks.
I'm gonna let Raheem. I wish you were on there. Why do you think that?
Because she's pretty, somewhat, and she's also it's also the tanning. He says this. He says, I listened to the last podcast. That's cool. He says, thank you. And also he says Natalia might have gotten the breast for health reasons. What? What?
No, what?
What?
Hey, Raheem,
Michelle,
hey, bro, I've sat next to this girl. She has no health issues. Trust me.
Michelle Fustella said this: when you get breasts that big, you're getting more closer to the rim of porn.
Well, look at Isabel. I'm like,
oh my God.
Look at what's the
Alicia.
other girl at Vegas? Alicia. It's like, Raheem as a judge. I keep trying to tell you this. It's just like KLA said. I had to get past the tits before I can look at the body. And the judges are different. They don't give a shit about the tits. They give a shit about the body. Sandy Williamson is the head judge for women. You think that Sandy is straight. She ain't gay. Sandy's straight. She don't give a shit about the tits. She gives a shit about the body. Steve gives a shit about the body, not the tits. Tyler gives a shit about the body, not the tits. So it's when we're sitting here, three heterosexual mans and talking about this situation, and we're like, can't get past the tits, and that's the first thing you bring up. Raheem, I didn't see you say anything about conditioning, her presentation, her muscularity, nothing. You're talking about her tits.
Or her muscle bellies and all that stuff.
Muscle bellies. You have not said everything. That one time. That's what makes, when I say fanboy, that's why I say fanboy. No disrespect. That's the fanboy.
Yeah. This is Roy 2000. He says, did I hear Raheem said that Andrea's not going to win the Miss Olympia?
Yes!
He says this. He says this also. Raheem, you say Natalia Kovaleva is going to beat Andrea Shaw. And he says this. He says Keith MJ wasn't the nicest person either, but he was the face of the NBA. Yes, true. I'm from right here from North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina.
Larry Bird was a fucking asshole. Larry Bird was a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
What made
Michael Jordan was an asshole too.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's an asshole.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan's an asshole.
I had people tell me that Michael used to always. One thing Michael wanted to do was he wanted to race motorcycles, but when he was in the NBA, he couldn't do it. He bet. The truth is, his father was killed.
Yep.
25 miles from where I stayed here in Roland. He was killed right a little bit before you get to Lumberton, where he found his body. Saying that his dad was down there paying his son's debts, and they took him. So they're probably thinking that it was him. He could have. There was a motel that was just 2 miles up the road from where they found his car. He could have went to that motel and got a room.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everybody wants to say this about athletes, which pisses me off because I'm a 3-time pro athlete. And they want to say here, I used to go to the gym because I don't talk to people. I'm conceited. No, motherfucker, I'm doing my job. This is what I get paid to do. I don't get paid to go in and socialize. I don't look like this for no fucking reason. It's my job. It's your job to work out because you're a gym rat. It's my job because this is how I feed my family. There's a difference. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and everybody else in the world who's athletes are competitive as shit. So if that makes us assholes, I guess we're assholes. Because Michael Jordan pushed guys to be the best that they could possibly be because he's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was an underdog. Michael Jordan didn't get recognized by anybody until he went to a North Carolina camp and Dean Smith seen him. He didn't make varsity. He didn't make varsity until his sophomore or junior year. His competitive nature and who he was made him who it's like Kobe, the Mamba. Kobe got into a bunch of shit and everybody thought he was an asshole. It's like when you look at Deion's son now, Deion Sanders' son. Who's his mentor? Who's Patrick Mahomes' mentor? Everybody says Tom Brady's a fucking asshole. Why? Because he was an underdog in his work ethic. These guys' work ethic as athletes have made them. And we can go back. Now let's go back into the world of bodybuilding. Chad Nichols will tell you that there's no man on the face of the planet that worked harder than Ronnie Coleman, but probably Dorian Yates. Other than that, you ain't never going to outwork Ronnie or Dorian in the gym. And they're the best. They're the best. They'll always be the best because they're willing to work hard. So if that makes these guys assholes because their competitive nature and their determination to push themselves, because here's the thing, you can't be a leader and have people following you if you're not doing the shit to make them follow you at the end of the day. So again, when we're talking about Michael Jordan, when we're talking about Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, they hated each other, but guess what? They respected each other because they know that in order to be the best, they wanted to go against each other because that's what made them the best. And that started at college. Yeah. So let's kick a little knowledge here.
Yeah. Here he goes. He says this. He says,
I've seen the
documentary. Shit, bro. He says, Keith, I understand what you're saying. He says it's true about the body. He says this, Natalia's condition is amazing and her muscle is on point. And he says, I work out 7 days a week. I understand where you are coming from, Keith. And this is from Warrior 2000. Says, Raheem, bro, what you smoking? Yeah, Raheem, what's that you been smoking? Kiao.
Yeah, you need to send us all
over here, baby. Kiao. What you're like what Jay says, cocaine is a hell of a drug. What about the legs, Sean Murphy? What about the legs? You're like, I remember one time sometimes
all I'm trying to get you to understand, my brother, is simply this. Natalia, if you followed her, I don't know how long have you been following her, just been the New York Pro. Consistency is the key to winning, and consistency definitely is the key to knocking out the champion. And we all know that. And that doesn't matter what sport. The Lakers will win one, Boston win one. The Lakers will win one, Boston will win one. Then they start creating these dynasties. Guess what? That's how you stay the champion. Again, you have to go back, Raheem, and look at the evolution of champions. There's only been a few champions that won one Olympia title. Most have won 3 or more. That's all I'm saying. It's the history.
Yeah. Here Raheem says this. He says, I'm smoking crack. I'm part of the responsible people who smoke crack. Yeah, I know quite a few of them. Also, he says this. He says, Keith, all I do is want to be better. That's why I work hard in the office and in the gym. I really don't have a social life. My life is either in the gym or at work. Cool, understand. And this is from Warrior, from Stephen Perry. Natalia does have size, but the thing is, you can have size, but you don't have conditioning. Good example. Renee Tony, huge, big, but never turned pro. She had a size. The condition sometimes was a hit and miss. We look at Tina Lockwood. You know, she was a big girl. She wasn't that big. She was like I think 5'5" said, but she was big. You know, very feminine, great look. She should have been a pro a long time ago, but she took a step back because she just didn't feel comfortable anymore about it. Raheem says, "I know Andrea will win. It's just about talking hype on the other person." Well, she don't need you to talk hype for her. She's supposed to be her own hype person. Appreciate it.
What we really should be talking about is the debate right now, which is a bigger debate than anything, is the current women's champion and the former women's champion in women's physique, and the shit that's going on there. Where I think one said that she was making fake messages and all this other. I think it was Sarah, and the current champion has to be very careful because Sarah is now locked hands with Tyler and some other promoters putting on shows and things like that. So everybody have to understand, in the world that we live in, a lot of political shit goes on in this world. So you just have to be careful who tells you step on and who tells you don't step on.
Okay. Well, we got a couple more, then we'll go head out because it's about some time for me here. And Raheem, also, KL had to leave. Shout out to KL. Thank you for coming through, brother. Hope we educate you a little more.
And I gotta eat.
Yeah. Also, you got to feed the machine. Look at the muscles. Look at the muscles. This man hadn't competed in almost 2 or 3 years. Look at him.
But coming back from Romania, Master Olympia next year, baby.
Good luck. Good luck. He says Renee Taylor never wanted to turn pro. I think it's a lifestyle for herself. She still gets good shape, but why compete? You're not going to turn pro. Here is also, this is from Warrior 2000. Raheem Hamilton. Oh, it's all hype. Okay, bro. I thought you was trolling when you claimed Natalia Kovaleva is going to beat Andrea Shaw. I knew deep down you weren't being serious. I think he was. And also we got here, he says, I know what you're talking about, Keith. Yeah. Well, folks, I do appreciate y'all coming to, this is not my phone, my brother. He left in there. I don't know why he took it forward. But this is the thing is, this year is a tough year for women's bodybuilding. We're going to have possibly 10, maybe 11 women. Maybe some women need to be invited. Some people say that they deserve it. But hey, you put in the time, put in the work. Jake Woods, he's supposed to be the advocate for women's bodybuilding. Reach out to the ones who really know. Some might turn it down, but some might take it, the opportunity to go to Olympia. Even if it was an invite, they'll take it. Because they may not.
Think about it, George. Last year, Big Ramy didn't compete because remember he got COVID and tested positive for COVID. Again, he got stuck in Turkey and wasn't supposed to go do Spain and end up having to get a special invite to do the Olympia last year. Yeah, because he got stuck in I think Turkey or somewhere traveling about and got tested and couldn't get here, so they gave him a special invitation.
Yeah.
Yeah. They gave Kevin LeBron and Flex Wheeler at the age of 50 a special invitation to go to Olympia. So
yeah, if they're back, I bet
it can happen.
Yeah, if like I said, Jake feels like, especially people like Virginia Sanchez is going to be competing at the Rising Phoenix. I think she deserves it. She looks pretty good. She looks great. She only did one Olympia doing career as 2021. She wanted to do 2020, but then that was the year where everything went to hell, and she has a son, and she didn't want to leave him in Spain, and she didn't want to travel. But I think she should get that invite just because of the time she missed. Teresa, I know Teresa said Teresa Vance should get it. I don't know. Teresa's going. She might be stepping away from the sport. That's what I'm hearing from people. Maybe Jessica Martin should get it also. Jay Fuchs, she looked great. She really popped back from after the Masters Olympia. If I know she's retired, but I bet you if she was offered a chance to come back, she might take it. And that's Branka Djokovic. I even mentioned that one girl, Lavinia. She said she could do 2024, but hey, if they give her an invite, but if she can't afford to come here to Brazil.
Here's the thing. Irene last year was out of the top 5 at the Worlds, and she got a special invite. So here's the thing: if the girls stay as consistent as they were this year, with the girls who've won that are at the World Championships, let's say the top 5 girls, and Irene was I think 7th or 8th last year and got the special invite. Why not the girl outside looking in at that show get an invite? That makes sense.
Yeah, because what I was told, they said because she took top 5 that year before, and because it changed the quality, to top 3. And this is what I think like this: Jake, I want that money. I want that good. Jake, it's your show. Why not have women's bodybuilding be top 5 like it was before. With so few shows, with point systems gone, that is truly right. Because men's bodybuilding is still top 5, and so is men's 212. All the other divisions, there's more shows. So
I think last year with the debacle of so many competitors from all the classes, people started getting in Jake's ear, and I can't remember the head of the Olympia, and said we're going to have to dummy this down and tame it back. And so I think it's a test run. John, me had discussed this. I think this is going to be a 1-year deal, and then you're going to have to go back, to a point system for some of the classes, because this is killing. There's still fans of women's bodybuilding, but this is going to create killing the sport for women's bodybuilding, because again, as I, and I don't know why this is stuck in my mind from this podcast, but looking at that girl who worked her ass off and only see a $500 check in their hand and know how hard it is for them to make money in this sport. And now you're limited in the shows and the resources, the lack of resources that some of these girls have. You're going to have to do something to change it, in my opinion. So,
yeah. This is from last one. This is Warrior 2000. Raheem Andrea Shaw will always remember that. Will win. That's true. I think unless she has even if she's like slightly off, like that with that time when Sarah was slightly off, she's still gonna win. Yeah. That's just the truth of it. But folks, I'd like to thank my man KL the Wanderer for coming through. Like my big brother, Big Keith here. I think Raheem come here and had the statistical fortitude to show his face.
I'll see you next week, Raheem.
Yeah, come on. Like I said, brother, make sure you get the right equipment. Basically go home, BQ, use your. I don't know how. I got pair of earbuds. I don't like the earbuds. I'm old fashioned. It's me. I'm old fashioned. But I also like to thank Warrior 2000, Stefan Prey, all you who came here, watch and listen to us. Well, as you know, it's gonna be quiet for a while in bodybuilding, not going on. That's what you talked about. Once I get something together, but folks, I want to say congratulations to Chelsea Dion, to Karina, and all the ladies that competed overseas in the Spain show. Maybe some of you ladies could qualify for next year, or the ladies from overseas come and do some shows here. I know it's expensive, but there's more opportunities for you here in the States than it is when you're in your own country. But we wish you best of luck. Like I said again, thanks Raheem, my man Big Keith, KL, everybody who watched this video. Subscribe, comment, share, support women in bodybuilding, support all these athletes in the sport of bodybuilding. Respect their passion, and we let us say this: it's not steroids is only a small factor of the sport. It's about consistency, diet. There's a lot of sacrifices and stuff they got to make for the sport, and you can use your support. And you know what I say? We say these guys, no D pics. Stop it. Don't do that. They don't like it. So anyway, this is me always your page, aka Emperor of Film Body Talk. I want to say like, subscribe. Don't subscribe. I'm out. Have a good rest of your week.